Simón.
While it's trendy these days to look to the Far East for exotic horror thrills, there's been a tradition of Spanish language horror that dates back decades and has largely gone unnoticed over here. Luckily, we've got Pan's Labyrinth director Guillermo del Toro to raise the profile for his native tongue, and The Orphanage is the latest film to have his name attached to it. This movie is actually just presented by him, but it's very much in keeping with his brand of chiller, which blends visceral shocks with moving character-based drama. It's the story of a couple who decide to reopen an old orphanage, but find their lives torn apart when their adopted son goes missing.
There are children who can see a hidden world, whose imagination opens their eyes.
The most famous orphan in cinema is probably Little Annie, and let's face it, you've got to work hard to make a parentless child more terrifying than that carrot-haired freak child. Orphanage director Juan Antonio Bayona clearly realises this, so has his spooky ghost kid, a creepy little squirt called Thomas, wear a nasty cloth bag on his head while scaring the crap out of our grieving parents. In general though, this is a film that relies on the build-up of tension and uncomfortable psychological anguish rather than traditional shocks, despite containing one of the single best jump-out-of-your-seat frights since Carrie decided that being buried wasn't much fun after all.
And the games children play when they're alone in the dark.
Much of the success of The Orphanage comes from the moving lead performance of Belén Rueda as the woman who refuses to give up hope that her child is gone. Although the film is most reminiscent of the others and Del Toro's Devil's Backbone, there are also shades of Poltergeist as Rueda brings in a team of paranormal experts to investigate the strange sounds she hears in the house. But luckily we're spared the high-pitched squawking of Poltergeist ghost hunter Zelda Rubinstein, who in 1982 gave Annie a run for her money when it came to diminutive annoyances. The Orphanage might not hit the heights of Del Toro's best work, but it's still one of the strongest horror movies of the last 12 months. It's beautifully shot, with a deeply moving climax that achieves that rare trick of being both tragic and uplifting. And let's face it, you don't get that with Resident Evil movies. And if ghost children with bags on their head aren't scary enough, then check out our other review of the week, a critical mauling of one of the worst films ever made, Meet the Spartans. Click on the link to the right of the page.